Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show, we toy with Disney Infinity 3.0 in the rundown.
Plus, Marissa heads to Montreal, where she has poutine and she meets the developers of Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
And then our old pals Steve and Raju are back to review Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. Also coming up, we take a look back at some classic Wolfenstein action, find out if we are doomed, and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. I think me and my fellow Templars might have a pair of assassins on our tail, and the only way to stop them is with the rundown. The makers of Assassin's Creed want to revolutionize the franchise with the next game. It's called Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and it takes place in 1860s London, right at the end of the Industrial Revolution. That means it's the first Creed game set in the modern era with new technology like rope launchers, zip lines, and revolvers changing how you play. You'll also be able to get around and fight on top of carriages, and for those of you who like to stick to the shadows, the stealth combat is now more fluid, allowing you to snap back and forth from cover more easily. Assassin's Creed Syndicate comes out this fall. We'll catch up with the developers behind the game after the rundown. You don't need to be force sensitive to have seen this coming. Disney has unveiled Disney Infinity 3.0, the first in the series to feature Star Wars characters. It will launch this fall with characters, locations, and vehicles primarily from the original Star Wars trilogy, along with a playset and several figures based on the Clone Wars animated series. Best of all, playsets and characters based on the upcoming film Star Wars: The Force Awakens will hit stores this winter. Developer Avalanche Software is working with Heavenly Sword and DMC Devil May Cry developer Ninja Theory to tweak the gameplay. They hope to make the melee combat feel more smooth and realistic than the previous Disney Infinity titles, and thankfully all the improvements will apply to older characters that you import into the new game. So much hugeness in the rundown today, and here to help me talk about that is EP's biggest toy fanatic, Marissa Roberto. Toys to Life.
I think that's you.
Oh, that's me, right?
Yeah,
I always get us confused. Toys to Life, big deal. Disney Infinity 3.0, big deal. Disney is not letting up on investing in this brand.
No, but you knew that.
Yeah,
you were saying that. No, you were saying that forever.
And I think that's going to be the trouble here. There are going to be too many damn toys. We're going to all have to have second apartments or houses to be able to deal with these massive collections that are going to be accumulating around this property and the Lego property. Do you think that the Disney stuff, I mean, you and I have gone back and forth about how it compares to Skylanders. Yeah. It looks like Disney is taking a lot of criticisms to heart, and they're going to try to improve, right?
I hope so, because the gameplay needs to be improved. They have the toys.
Yes.
They have the toys. Like, they're already in the bank with that. So, I mean, I want the toys just to collect them. Like, they have me on that. So, all they need to do is improve the game.
They did some pretty massive improvements from the 2.0 to the 1.0, and I think that this next jump is going to be a pretty profound one for them. They're working with Ninja Theory again. I know that the United Front Games folks are working on some stuff with the Disney Infinity brand. All right, well, let's talk about Assassin's Creed. This one is called Syndicate. You've already been to Quebec. You've met with the development team. What's your take on this game?
Well, I was, you know, just like a lot of people out there, I'm not really looking forward to another Assassin's Creed. And I do mention that in my interviews as well, because there's just been a lot of letdown, especially with the last one. So I got really amped, though, when I saw the trailer for this thing, and I saw some gameplay as well. I saw a pre-alpha build, and everyone, the whole dev team is so excited because this is the first time that Ubisoft Quebec has been the head of any game.
They're being entrusted with this vaunted brand.
Exactly, and they're really excited about it. They're excited about the time period that it's taking place in. They're excited about their two assassins.
Can we call 2015 the year of Gothic video game fiction?
Sure, yes.
We had it in The Order. We have it in
we did, but we didn't
Bloodborne.
have it done well in The Order. So maybe this will do it right. I think it looks really cool. I mean, the streets are bigger, the buildings are taller, there are advertisements everywhere, so there's a lot of different opportunities for parkour, and I love the weapons that are introduced in this as well, and I love his top hat, and you can switch to the hood whenever he's being stealth.
And it looks like there's some boxing, some bare-knuckle boxing, a little Assassin's Creed a la Guy Ritchie.
I got excited watching this trailer, I have to say, so I guess we'll just see what happens next, but I did, again, go to Quebec to talk about this game and learn all about it, and I'm excited to share the story with you.
Right on.
I've been feeling a little burnt out on Assassin's Creed as of late, but I just saw a really cool alpha build of Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and I feel like I'm on board again because there's so much happening that I'm trying to wrap my mind around. So first of all, where are we in time?
So we are in London in 1868, right at the end of the Industrial Revolution.
Great, because with the Industrial Revolution comes a lot of really cool things like a revolver, so we're going to get to use a revolver now as an assassin?
Absolutely, there's more gunplay in Assassin's Creed Syndicate than there ever was on the brand, and it really feels fresh and new to have these revolvers in the game, and we've completely revamped all the free aiming to make it a really satisfying element for our players to enjoy.
It's not just a revolver, though. We have new weapons here that we're getting to make use of, so tell me about them.
So the player will be able to fight with brass knuckles, with a kukri knife, and with a sword cane that we'll talk more about throughout the summer. But those are really brutal weapons for the player to use in our revamped combat system.
What was it about the Industrial Revolution that was so appealing to you guys as developers?
For me, we need to modernize the brand, both in terms of gameplay and in the way we do storytelling. And there's no better place than the Industrial Revolution to do it, because it was such an age of marvel and technological breakthroughs that enable us to change the game for players. One of the things that's super cool that happens during the Industrial Revolution is that Charles Darwin publishes the theory of evolution. And this is just one of the things that the player will be able to glimpse at in this era of transformation for humanity. While we often refer to the UK as one of the first parliamentary democracy, well, if you go back to these years, only 5% of the population had the right to vote, and women were completely excluded. So it will be interesting to put our players into this world of inequalities and wonders at the same time.
So they're fighting the good fight, but it's not just one assassin here, there are two, and they're twins. Mind blown. So how are we going to get to control these two?
So the player will be able to play as Jacob and Evie Fry, two assassins that were born and raised that way. In the main storyline, they each have their own story that the player will get to experience. But when you get to the open world, this is where you can choose between playing as Jacob or as Evie. And as a player, you'll be able to invest on both of them, both in terms of skill tree and in terms of the equipment that they have. The city will really feel different for our players. There will be 7 boroughs for the player to explore, each one very different from the other ones. The player will grow to master and dominate the city through the street gangs. So all the criminality of this world is something that the player will need to master, borough by borough, slum by slum, and install the gang that we call the Rooks throughout the city.
He robbed me.
Of what precisely?
What do you have to say to all those people out there that are kind of tried out on Assassin's Creed? We've gotten one every single year, plus the extra Assassin's Creed games that come after the main one.
I know of no other brand in the video game industry that innovates as much as Assassin's Creed. We have new heroes, we have new eras, and this year with the Industrial Revolution, it will really, really feel different.
Looks like AC might be getting back on track.
Great news. Steve and Raju are back on track with their review of the new Wolfenstein when we come back.
Love it. Welcome back to EP Daily. Fun fact of the day, Wolfenstein has been around since 1981.
Wow, look at the big brain on brand.
And it's still going strong, as are our 2 reviewers.
That's right, prepare yourselves. It's time for the 2 oldest game reviewers in Toronto. No, I mean Toronto's finest. Here's Steve and Raju with Wolfenstein, The Old Blood.
All right, here's the checkpoint. Remember your cover. Commander Franz, Nazi from the SS in Frankfurt.
BJ Blazkowicz is back.
BJ!
In Wolfenstein, The Old Blood, which is a standalone expansion prequel to Wolfenstein The New Order, which came out last year. You don't need to have played that. You can buy this and just start shooting Nazis to your heart's delight.
Right.
And it's sort of a weird development thing because this started off as 2 separate DLCs, which they decided to just jam together into one little package.
Right.
I did play The New Order.
I have a confession to make. I'm a lifelong, I would say, Wolfenstein fan. I cut my teeth on Wolfenstein 3D. Even before that, I was playing the original Castle Wolfenstein on the Apple IIe.
Oh, look, old kids. Grandpa's talking about the old games
Hold up
again.
a chair, kids. Why, back in my day, we killed Hitler and the Apple IIe, and we liked it. And it had 64 kilobytes of RAM, and that was enough for us. But no, really, I've loved this franchise all my life. I have not played Wolfenstein The New Order, and I keep hearing you've been raving about it. Now, I want to know, as somebody who did play The New Order, did you feel this connects? Was it the same?
No, okay, I think it looks fantastic. This is your classic shooting gallery type of game. There is no multiplayer, it's only single player.
Which I'm okay with.
Which I'm okay with, because I think Machine Games did an absolutely fabulous job with last year's game. I think that what's interesting here is that one of the things that actually really worked in the game, the full game, was the character development. They actually had a lot of really quiet moments. They made you care. And
about BJ?
About BJ, you had a love interest.
Oh,
You had to
okay.
go, you just got to decide who you had to want to save. There was a ton of great, real story there. Honestly, I was really impressed with it. It's Wolfenstein. I didn't expect anything like that. And so the thing is while this has all of the action, it has all that cool stuff, that is the one thing that's missing.
See, now, I was trying to figure out why I was not loving this as much as I thought I would, because I'd heard so many people rave about The New Order, and I thought, this is going to be fantastic. This will be so cool. This will obviously be better because it's a newer game, and you can do stuff like dual wield and new weapons. But, man, I wasn't blown away. It is very classic, throw yourself in, corridor shooting type of thing, very linear, and it's got a real B-movie vibe. I mean, you're working through, you begin kind of in Castle Wolfenstein. You've infiltrated Castle Wolfenstein. The whole point of the game is to get this document from Helga von, what's her name? Helga von Schaub. You get a dossier from her that reveals the location of General Death's Head, who I understand is the main villain in New Order.
So there's two stories going on here. So the first half of the game, it is Rudy Yaga and the Den of Wolves. And basically, you've got to get out of Castle Wolfenstein, find stuff. And then the second half is the arcane thing of Helga von Schaub. It has Nazi zombies in it.
Nazi zombies. Flaming Nazi zombies. Nazi zombies on fire!
I was kind of looking forward to the Nazi zombies because they've got like the steampunk robotic zombies down who are awesome enemies, and Nazi dogs, and I never get tired of killing zombies.
There's an amazing Easter egg, and I guess this is in The New Order as well, where you find this bed, and if you go to sleep, all of a sudden you're transported into the first level of the original Wolfenstein 3D. You've got your regular pistol and gun, but you're running around killing these sprite Nazis. I'm like, oh man, I love that old school shout out to the roots of the series. But that's the thing about this game, it's almost too old school. There's nothing here that really surprised me at all.
It's funny, I remember my first view, I kind of had the same thing. Like, there is such an old school vibe to this, but I really enjoyed it. I liked it. I'm glad that there's more to play.
Fair enough. As somebody who loves Wolfenstein but has not yet played New Order, I was not smitten with the old blood, but it has really encouraged me now to go out and play the New Order. I'm more curious about what you are going to give Wolfenstein the old blood.
8 out of 10.
See, for me, it can only be a 6.5. 6.5! Achtung!
Oh, it's so great to see those guys, but you know, I hope the camera guy took them out for Metamucil shakes and rubbed down their shanks with Ben Gay afterward.
That's right. You know, they love their Metamucil shakes, as does, you might not know this, Victor Lucas.
Oh, well, here is Vic and Scott with Wolfenstein from the EP Vault.
Make mine vanilla.
Let's talk about Wolfenstein. We talked about BJ Blazkowicz for a long time.
What a great name for a video game character.
I know, it's very
right
unique.
up there with Duke Nukem.
But he's also been kind of a non-personality. But this time he actually does have a daring do type of vibe. He's got a Indiana Jones kind of
the
aesthetic.
Square jaw.
Yeah.
He shows more intelligence than I think he has in previous iterations of the Wolfenstein.
And that really plays well into the way that they've expanded the story overall, the storytelling.
Yes.
Because really what it boils down to is you just shoot at Nazis. What they've done, though, is they've given you kind of a hub in this German town, and you get to deal with a little bit of this French resistance type vibe and talk to black market, you know, weapons dealers and run around and talk to Nazi soldiers and get embroiled in some of the peripheral storylines that are sort of evolving in this city. It's not quite a Grand Theft Auto or anything like that, but it was kind of cool to have this open world environment kind of open up for you a little bit, and actually as you gain abilities and powers, more of it becomes accessible to you.
At first, it feels like a gimmick.
Yeah.
But then I kind of liked going back to the hub world. There was something comforting about about it. I like going back to visiting, the chain smoking, black market dealer down in his basement.
Not the best story overall, though. I mean, it's just, it's pretty cliched. You hook up with this group that's investigating this paranormal kind of activity that's called the Veil, which is what you get as you pick up this medallion called the Thule medallion. And I'm getting right into the fiction, and that's one of my big problems with this thing, is that it just gives you all of this information and all these different buzz names, and you're just like, what the hell?
You feel like it's too much information.
Well, I was shooting at Nazis 2 seconds ago. What's happening?
I mean, you can let that just be white noise and let it bounce off your face.
And just get into the gameplay.
And just get into the gameplay. And I think that's the most innovative thing about the game, and it's the subtlest thing about the game, is that they took a tried and true formula, like a first-person shooter, and somehow it's interesting.
We haven't even talked about probably the best part about this game, which is the multiplayer, although it will be overshadowed probably by the next Call of Duty.
Absolutely.
What they've done is they've given Veil powers to the Return to Castle Wolfenstein multiplayer, and that was one of my favorite of the previous Xbox Live experiences that I had.
Rave about it.
It was amazing.
What it seems like Raven did is they looked at a level and they said, is this fun, is this fun, is this fun, is this fun?
Totally.
Anything that wasn't fun, they got chopped out. Yeah. Everything you're doing in this game feels fun.
What are you going to give Wolfenstein?
I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
9?
I'm
you loved
shocked.
it.
Yeah,
you loved it.
Believe me, I'm shocked.
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay,
it is a very good game.
It's a little low.
Oh yeah, that was another great one.
Up next, we are doomed.
Oh, we are? I'm getting to the basement. It's safe there.
Okay, Derpy, it's just a video game. Come back. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to EP Daily. Morbid game titles are all the rage these days, so when I heard I was going to be reviewing a game called We Are Doomed, I strapped on the old bike helmet and grabbed a controller, because according to our changing climate and a conversation I overheard Ultron and Division having, we are most certainly doomed. But is this game? Find out in our review.
Twin-stick shooters are some of my favorite experiences, as anybody that's watched this show knows, and we've got a new one to talk about from a company called Vertex Pop. The game is called We Are Doomed, and I kind of wish it was flipped around because Vertex Pop sounds like a great name.
It does, but I am intrigued by the name We Are Doomed. I want to know what this game is about, because we are doomed as a society,
Everything that's alive is doomed, yes.
Right, so I want to see how a game emulates this, and it really does, in a sense, in the most abstract form. We are using both sticks here. I played on my Xbox, which I absolutely love for dual stick shooters. And just jumping into the thing, you are thrown into it, and you have enemies all around you, and what you need to do really is just use your right thumbstick to shoot them all down with your steady stream, like your crystal stream of hatred. Maybe that's what it is, it's a virus that we're getting rid of.
Well, you can certainly interpret it any way you want to, because it's very opaque, the whole shapes and creature designs that are on display here. It almost looks like papercraft to me. It looks like some level that you might find hidden in Tearaway or something.
Oh, yeah.
They're flat shapes, and I think this would be a nightmare for anybody that was colorblind.
Definitely.
Because there's so much activity and so much action on screen happening at the same time as any one of these dual stick shooters will provide. It's not Geometry Wars. It's not as good as the latest Geometry Wars in any sense of the imagination. But what this game I think really does well, and I did get hooked on it, is that it really borrows the Robotron hook in a clean, efficient way. The playing area doesn't really change. You're just always on this rectangular space that you're being completely squished into in all of corners. So you've got things like popping up out of the background, and then you've got whole line stream waves. You've got the homing missile types of dudes. I like the enemies that have this blast fire that crosses across the horizontal plane and then shifts over towards you.
Yes, because you feel like you could kill those guys, but you can't. You gotta kill everyone else around there. So learning these enemies is really interesting as well. And you get introduced to a whole bunch of new ones each way.
And I think because of its clear pull from the Eugene Jarvis classics, there's something simplistic and base about it that's really cool. Like, you're not loaded with power-ups. The scenery doesn't change all that much. It's populated by aliens or creatures or whatever they are, shapes that change. But really, you have this super beam that you can activate every once in a while, which will kill things that would normally not be killable.
Yes,
and
but collecting enough gems to actually fill up that stream.
Easier said than done.
Oh my goodness, because you feel like you want to collect those gems. Yes, I want to get the stream so bad, but then you get killed and just, it was completely wasted.
It's really not loaded with different types of gameplay modes. You've got a waves mode and you've got an endless mode. The waves mode gives you a bit of a checkpoint every 10 levels, which comes in handy.
Way more fun.
Yes, it is. But it doesn't go on forever.
No.
It's not the greatest deal, but it's competently made and it's fun and it's a solid addition to your now ever-growing twin-stick shooter library,
for
right?
sure. If you love twin-stick shooters and just like this attack on you when you play as a gamer, I feel like $10 seems like a lot, I guess, for a game like this when you're used to playing games like this on your mobile device.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to justify the price, but that would be the only negative for this game for me. I really loved it.
Yeah, it is a solid game. What are you going to give We Are Doomed?
It gets a 7.
Gets a 7.5 from me.
Hey, you never know how it might happen. Could rain meatballs. Not a bad way to go. Don't go anywhere because we're answering your Twitter question after this.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. It is time for our Twitter question of the day. This one is from Lance Toledo asking, have you guys ever considered doing a win a date with Marissa contest? What do you think about that?
First of all, no, because I don't want anyone getting fresh. I don't want anyone getting any ideas out there.
Right.
But no, outside of that, I just feel like it should be maybe a win a date with the EP team.
Okay.
Maybe that would be something we could auction off. That would be all right.
Go for a nice vegetarian meal on you?
Sure.
No, how does it work?
I don't know. If
Wins
someone's doing it for charity, I feel like we should take them out they're donating to charity.
All right,
That's
very
fine.
cheap vegetarian meal.
Yeah. We got this.
Okay.
But no, I just wouldn't really feel comfortable.
How about we make them come and see a really crappy horror movie with us?
Yes, absolutely.
I
I always want company going to see horror movies for sure. So yeah, you're welcome to come out on a date with us and we do horror.
Win a date with the EP team. All right, we will put that into motion. And in the meantime, you can get caught up on EP stuff at our website, epn.tv.
We've got more coming in an upcoming episode of EP Daily, including a hands-on look, or I guess it would be wrist-on look at the Apple Watch.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Dungeon Hunter 5, which you can play for free on iOS and Android right now.
Some of the bite-sized apps are fabulous. You know, I checked my bank balance this morning really quick. I got paid. I really like that. I paid at Starbucks with it, and honestly, in the morning, I'm all gangly. I was like, here you go. I like that.
I think right now the first wave of apps we're seeing aren't quite taking advantage of what the watch could do.